The best way I can describe Kekai Sensen Season 2 is also probably the worst way I can describe Kekai Sensen Season 2. That it really just feels like Kekai Sensen Season 2. If that doesn't make any sense, don't worry, that just means your brain, unlike mine, is functional. But it really was the prevailing feeling I got during my second wacky trip to Hellsom's Lot. Kekai Sensen and Beyond is more Kekai Sensen, which is not a bad thing, far from it. If you saw the glowing review I gave Season 1, you know how much I've grown to love this world and these characters. But as time wore on, it all felt a bit less off the wall than the first season did. A bit less stylish and a bit less unique. I had seen a lot of what this format and this city had to offer. It brings me back to one of my favorite quotes from Season 1. Once you get used to the abnormalities, they become mundane. It's the double-edged sword of being an actual Season 2. If these episodes had aired directly connected to Season 1, I don't think I would feel this same way. I would just have a group of episodes I didn't really vibe with as much. But giving it an entirely different name gives it an entirely different place in my mind. It allows me to separate the two and determine that I prefer Season 1. I feel like if you say Kekai Sensen to someone, they'll immediately think of a scene from Season 1. Whether that's the episode 1 fight, the chess match, Burger Boy, whatever. For me, the initial insanity and overwhelming quality of Season 1 makes it the more memorable season. However, it's not all doom and gloom because, as I said earlier, more Kekai Sensen is still a good thing. Because Kekai Sensen still rules. From my understanding, a lot of people prefer the second season to the first, and I can see why. It does exactly what I had hoped it would do. It builds off of what the first season had spent time setting up. It uses existing character relationships in new ways while building new relationships with existing characters. It takes this incredible sandbox of a world and just goes to town with it. The first episode is a fun little "the gang's all here" moment, the hospital episode may be one of my favorites, and the Steven and Shane focused episodes are two of my favorites. If I had made this video a third of the way through Beyond, I would have said how it was so much better than Season 1. Because as far as utilizing its characters go, it is. For a little bit at least. The middle section really slows down, with the Gilbert, Lockout, and Zed episodes probably being the weakest stretch in the entire series. While I think there are some good moments sprinkled in, there's a decent amount hinged on caring about one-off characters, and it doesn't always hit seamlessly. I also think this is kind of where they start character assassinating Zap, which is harder than you might think. Somebody had to take a back seat to let some of the other cast members shine in their episodes, and unfortunately it's him. He does still have some good comedy bits though. The weakness of this section makes me wonder if the overarching plot of Season 1 was what kept me engaged throughout the middle portion, but that's not the case. The middle chunk of Season 1 includes Dog Hummer, Burger Time, the underground fighting ring, and the two-parter Z's Longest Day. That's a crazy string of heat that was actually the part of the show that got me to really fall in love with it. Unfortunately, Season 2 just couldn't replicate that Herculean feat. The show does come fully back around, though, with the KK episode and the two-part finale, giving us the season's most stylish episode, plus a very satisfying step forward, or even conclusion, for Leo's Tortoise Knight character arc. That finale is wild tense, too. While not able to match Season 1's double feature in animation or insanity, it more than makes up for it in story and intensity. It also provided me with yet another of my favorite quotes from the series: "If you can feel despair in this world, then there must be hope too." A great thing to remember, especially when you open YouTube Analytics. As far as the actual direction and style goes, I think the cool factor is there. It's something that is baked into Kekai's DNA, but it does feel a bit more muted. Again, not bad, just not as up to the high standard Season 1 set. I also can't tell if I feel this way because there was an actual perceptible drop in direction that I'm picking up on subconsciously, or if this is confirmation bias because I know the director changed, so I think it's not as lively. It certainly still has its moments. I think the scene with KK and her children comes to mind immediately, as well as the entire finale. But there's nothing that quite reaches the level of the Rie Matsumoto storyboarded opener and closer of Season 1. Honestly, if you want to know all the things that I loved about Season 2, go check out my video on Season 1. It's all still there in spades. The hijinks, the humor, and the characters that I absolutely adore. I may have focused a lot on the negative here, but if they finally make a season 3 to promote the new part of the manga, I will be there day one. Something I don't love as much as a masterpiece can still be a masterpiece, and slow middle section aside, I still wholeheartedly loved Kekai Sensen and Beyond. But as it stands, I think I prefer Season 1 to Season 2. If you don't, that's totally valid. But for me, the unique craziness of the initial season, combined with what I think are a stronger and more memorable crop of episodes, will always make me a little bit fonder for that inaugural run. Regardless of preference though, I cannot recommend both iterations of Kekai enough. And if you're one of the 400,000 plus people who didn't wind up following up for the sequel, then I think I have some good weekend plans for you. Kekai Sensen and Beyond might just be more Kekai Sensen, but when you're as cool, fun, and stylish as Kekai Sensen is, I'm not sure I could think of a better compliment.